My childhood sweetheart married my widowed sister with full formal rights as his wife, but offered me only the position of a lowly concubine. I immediately left home and shaved my head to become a nun. The next day, when he saw the vast dowry returned and a letter breaking off the engagement, he collapsed in despair. Hello everyone. Welcome to Empress Revenge Stories. Let's begin this story. Second Miss. Please don't kneel here any longer. The eldest Mrs. Bridal sedan is about to arrive at the main gate. It's quite improper for you to block the way like this. Matron Wang's voice came from above, carrying a tone that was 30% perfunctory and 70% impatient. I knelt on the blue stone floor of the Chang family's main hall. My knees already ice-cold and aching, yet I still kept my back straight, my gaze fixed on the middle-aged man and woman seated before me, my father, Chang Wenqing, and my mother, Lady Wang. Today was the Chang family's day of celebration. My legitimate elder sister, Chang Yurong, was to be married to the man I had been betrothed to since I was 5, my childhood sweetheart and heir to the Xinbei Marquisate, Gu Yanchen. Father, mother. I heard my own voice trembling, yet still clear. I have only one question. Why does the betrothal gift list from the Gu family bear my elder sister's name as the wife? And why am I offered only a document making me a concubine? The hall was draped in red silk, pasted with characters for happiness. My father, Chang Wenqing, lifted his teacup, gently blew the foam from its surface, and didn't even raise his eyelids. Qingning, this matter is already settled. Do not make a scene. A scene? I nearly laughed, but my eyes stung first. My name is Su Qingning, the second daughter of the Chang family, born to a concubine. My mother, who had been my father's concubine, died of illness when I was 8. From then on, I lived in this vast mansion like a shadow. And Gu Yanchen, the man I had called Brother Chen for 15 years, we had known each other since childhood. When he was 10, he went with his father to guard the northern frontier. Before he left, he took my hand and said, Qingning, wait for me to return, and I will marry you. Later, he sent letters every 3 months, always with dried flowers from the north or little wooden hairpins he had carved himself. At 14, he returned to the capital to report on his duties. In the bamboo grove behind the Chang family's rear courtyard, he tucked a white jade bamboo-joined hairpin into my hair, his gaze burning. Qingning, once you come of age, I will come to ask for your hand. Last autumn, his father, the Marquis of Xinbei, fell in battle. He inherited the title and observed a year of mourning. This year, as soon as the mourning period ended, the betrothal gifts arrived at the Chang household. But on the betrothal gift list, the name of the wife was my legitimate elder sister Chang Yurong's, and what was given to me was a document of concubinage. Reading, Chang family's second daughter, Qingning, virtuous and gentle, to be taken as a noble concubine. Why? I stared at my father, word by word. Am I inferior to my elder sister in some way? Or has Gu Yanchen been deceiving me from the very beginning? My mother, Lady Wang, finally put down the gold bracelet she had been toying with and sighed. That bracelet was part of the Gu family's betrothal gifts, now on her wrist, glinting in the candlelight, dazzling and painful to the eyes. Qingning, you must understand. Yurong is a legitimate daughter, while you are a concubine's daughter. Lady Wang's voice was gentle, but her words were sharp as a blade. What status does the Xinbei Marquisate hold? How could a concubine's daughter be the wife? Wouldn't it be a laughingstock? But the betrothal contract only says daughter of the Chang family, without specifying which one. Father cut me off, his tone already impatient. When the Gu family came to propose, they made it clear they wanted to marry the legitimate daughter of the Chang family. Your elder sister is a year older than you and still unmarried. Naturally, it should be her. Naturally, it should be her. 5 words, light as air, yet crushing 15 years of hope. From outside the hall came the clamor of celebration, the approach of festive music. Matron Wang urged again, Second Miss, please get up. The bridal sedan is at the gate. If you kneel here, the guests will see. And what if they do? I suddenly laughed, though tears fell. Su Qingning, will ask all the guests here today. Ask my good brother-in-law. Ask my good elder sister. Is it well to steal another's betrothal and seize another's place as wife? Before the words had fully faded, a heavy slap landed on my face. My father had risen to his feet, his face ashen. Wretch, today is your elder sister's wedding day. Must you throw everything into chaos? A sweet, metallic taste spread across my lips. I wiped the blood away and slowly rose from the ground. I had knelt so long my legs were numb. I stumbled, but no one reached out to help me. Through the wide-open doors of the main hall, I saw the 8-carriage bridal sedan stopped before the Chung family gate. Red silk dazzling, firecrackers roaring. Gu Yanchen sat astride a tall horse, clad in bright red wedding robes. His features as handsome as ever. He had once said that the first person to see him in his wedding robes would be me. Now he had come in his wedding robes. But the bride was not me. The auspicious hour has come. The bride leaves the chamber. Amid the high, clear chanting of the master of ceremonies, my legitimate elder sister Chang Yurong was led out, adorned with phoenix crown and ceremonial robes, jewels and pearls surrounding her. The veil hid her face, but I could imagine the pleased, restrained smile beneath it. As she passed by me, she paused for a moment, the gold tassels at the edge of her veil swaying gently. I heard her say, in a voice only I could hear, "Little sister, in the marquise, your elder sister will take good care of you. One word at a time, laced with venom. Raise the sedan! Raise the sedan!" The music and clamor faded into the distance. The guests all bowed with congratulations, and no one looked twice at the tear-streaked daughter of a concubine in the corner. I turned and walked toward the rear courtyard. My maid Yunxiang caught up with me, her eyes red, tugging at my sleeve. "Miss, please don't take it so hard. At least the heir is still willing to take you as a concubine. In a few days, when the sedan comes for you, you can still enter the marquise. A concubine." I stopped and looked at the girl who had followed me since childhood. "Yunxiang, do you think I should be a concubine?" Yunxiang stammered, unable to reply. Yes, in everyone's eyes, a concubine's daughter becoming a noble concubine in a marquise was already a great favor. I didn't blame her. This was the way of the world. Women were like duckweed, especially a concubine's daughter. I returned to my small, remote courtyard. Yunxiang brought hot water to wash my face. In the bronze mirror, a pale face looked back at me, with a clear handprint still visible on the left cheek. I reached up and touched the white jade hairpin in my hair, the one Gu Yanchen had given me. He had said, "Bamboo has joints as a person has integrity. You are like bamboo, unbroken by wind and rain." Now, it was bitterly ironic. "Miss, you've worn this hairpin for 3 years. It's old. Shall I find you a new one?" Yunxiang asked carefully. "No need." I gently removed the hairpin and held it in my palm. Old things should be thrown away. Late at night, the clamor from the front courtyard finally subsided. I sat by the window, watching the cold moonlight. At the bottom of my jewelry box was a stack of letters, 47 in all, sent by Gu Yanchen from the northern frontier. I went through them one by one, from childish handwriting to bold, flowing script, from Qingning to my beloved Qingning. The last one had come 3 months ago. He said the mourning period was almost over, and he would come to ask for my hand soon, telling me to wait for him. I had waited, and what I waited for was him marrying my sister as his wife and taking me as his concubine. Bitter resentment churned in my chest, and I tasted blood in my throat. I forced it down and tore the letters apart, one by one. "Miss, what are you doing?" Yunxiang cried out. "Burn them." I threw the shredded paper into the brazier and watched the flames consume those promises. But these were from the heir, from now on. Never mention that man again. I cut her off, my voice so calm it surprised even me. Yunxiang, seeing my eyes, dared not speak further and quietly withdrew. When the last ember died in the brazier, the sky was just beginning to lighten. I had not slept all night. At dawn, as I washed and dressed, Yunxiang brought breakfast, plain congee and pickled vegetables. "Miss, please eat a little. You haven't had a single drop since yesterday noon." "Where are my father and mother?" I asked. "The master has gone to court. The madam is chanting sutras in the Buddha hall." Yunxiang paused, then said quietly, The madam told me to tell you to stay quietly in the courtyard. In a few days, the Gu family will send a sedan to take you into the household. Though it is as a concubine, it is still the marquise. She said you must not make any more trouble, lest both families lose face. I lifted a spoonful of congee, then set it down again. Yunxiang, bring me everything in my jewelry box. Miss? Go. Yunxiang, not daring to disobey, brought me the jewelry box. I went through it piece by piece, my mother's few keepsakes. A gold hairpin, a pair of jade earrings, a white jade pendant, a few ordinary pearl hairpins and silver bracelets given by my father over the years. And from Gu Yanchen, apart from the hairpin I had already removed, a few small trinkets. The dried flowers from the north had long since withered, and the small wooden hairpin was old and worn. The most valuable thing was a pair of heavy gold bracelets, which my grandmother had secretly pressed into my hand before she died. I had never worn them. Wrap all of these up, I said. Miss, are you going to exchange them for silver? But this is all you have. Go quickly. My voice was not loud, but it carried an authority that brooked no argument. Yunxiang hugged the jewelry box, her eyes reddening again. Miss, please don't do anything desperate. Life must go on. You're still young. In the future, what future? I looked up at her. In the marquise, will I live at the mercy of my elder sister's moods? Watching her and Gu Yanchen grow old together in love while I kneel by their side, serving tea and calling her lady? Yunxiang had no reply. She wiped her tears and went out. I stayed quietly in my room all day. At noon, Yunxiang returned carrying a small cloth bundle. Miss, I sold them all. The shopkeeper said the gold bracelets were fine quality and gave 300 taels. The rest together came to 120 taels. Here are 420 taels in silver notes and a few ounces of loose silver. For 120 taels, this was all I had in the world. In all my 16 years in this great Chang household, this was all I had saved. Yunxiang. I put away the notes, keeping only the loose silver in my hand. Take this loose silver. Find an excuse to leave the manor, and go to the Shu Yuan nunnery outside the west gate. Ask for a nun named Huijue. Say that the second daughter of the Chang family will come to offer incense 3 days from now at the hour of the dragon, and ask her to make things convenient. The Shu Yuan nunnery? Miss, you want to go offer incense? Yes. I stood up and went to the window. Yunxiang seemed to understand but didn't really. She pocketed the silver and left. 3 days later, before dawn, I rose and dressed in simple, plain clothes without cosmetics. My hair held by a single wooden hairpin. Yunxiang packed a small bundle for me, tears falling again. Miss, you really are going to stay at the nunnery for a few days. What if the madam asks? If mother asks, say I went to the nunnery to pray for my father and mother's well-being and that I'll return in 3 days. But the Gu family will be sending a sedan for you in a few days. I know. I shouldered the bundle, light, with only a few changes of clothes and those 420 taels of silver notes. I need to go draw a fortune-telling slip and ask the Bodhisattva whether I should take this position as a concubine or not. Leaving through the side gate, the old woman on watch looked at me curiously but didn't ask. The comings and goings of a concubine's daughter were never of much concern. The Shu Yuan nunnery was on a hill west of the city, not much incense, but quiet. The nun Huijue was a middle-aged woman with a kind face. Seeing me, she pressed her palms together. Lady Chang has arrived. I apologize for troubling you. Reverend, you are most welcome. The guest room has been prepared. The nunnery was indeed quiet. Apart from a few young nuns sweeping the grounds, there was scarcely a soul. I was given the westernmost room, and when I opened the window, I could see a bamboo grove on the back hill. Reverend, I said, turning and bowing deeply to Huijue. I have not come merely to offer incense. Huijue regarded me calmly, her gaze peaceful. Please speak. I wish to become a nun in this nunnery. The air was still for a moment. Huijue's expression did not change. She only asked, why? The world of mortals is in turmoil. My heart has no home. Have you considered this carefully? The life of a nun is one of ascetic hardship. It may not be the answer. My mind is made up. I knelt. I beg you to grant my request. Kuejue did not answer immediately. She told me to stay in the nunnery for 3 days, and if my resolve did not waver in those 3 days, then she would perform the tonsure. Those 3 days, I lived in the nunnery, rising with the morning bell, resting with the evening drum, sitting beside the blue lamp with old scriptures. Yunxian came secretly up the hill each day to see me, crying until her eyes were swollen like peaches. Miss, are you really going to become a nun? What will the master and madam say? What about the Gu family? Yunxian. I wiped her tears. If you still think of yourself as my maid, then help me with a few things. Tell me, Mississippi. First, keep my intention to become a nun a secret, at least until after the ceremony. Second, there is a letter under my pillow. 3 days from now, deliver it quietly to the Shinbei Marquiate and give it to Gu Yanchen himself. It must be placed in his own hands. Third, I took out the 420 taels in notes and handed her 100 taels. Take this silver. If the Chang family cannot keep you, then find a way out for yourself. Don't let my affairs hold you back. Yunxian cried all the more, kneeling and clinging to my legs. Yunxian will never leave you. I will serve you all my life. Silly girl, I said, patting her head. In life, meetings and partings have their own time. On the morning of the 3rd day, Kuejue came to the guest room. Has your resolve changed? It has not. Do you have regrets? No regrets. Kuejue let out a long sigh. So be it. At noon today, I will perform the tonsure for you in the Buddha hall. I knelt on a cushion before the solemn image of the Buddha. Kuejue held the razor, chanting sutras. As the first lock of hair fell, a hurried sound of footsteps came from outside the hall. Qingning. It was Gu Yanchen's voice. I closed my eyes and did not turn around. Su Qingning, come out! His voice was agitated and angry, and he had reached the Buddha hall's entrance, only to be stopped by a young nun. This is a place of worship. Please do not shout. Stand aside. There was a scuffle, and footsteps drew nearer. I remained kneeling, my back to him. Qingning. Gu Yanchen's voice stopped behind me, trembling with disbelief. What are you doing? Huijue's razor paused. I opened my eyes and looked at the compassionate eyes of the Buddha. Lord Gu, this is a Buddha hall. Can you not see what I am doing? Stand up. He reached out to pull me, but I shifted aside, avoiding his touch. At last, I turned to face him. 3 days had passed, and he looked haggard with dark circles beneath his eyes, as if he had not slept. He was still wearing the wedding robes from that day, though they were wrinkled and dusty. Shouldn't you be in your bridal chamber today, Lord Gu? What brings you to this quiet place? Qingning, please. He looked at me, pain in his eyes. I can explain everything. Come back with me, and we can talk. Explain what? I laughed. Explain why you married my sister as your wife? Explain why you offered for me only a document of concubinage? Or explain that everything you said to me over 15 years was a lie? It was not a lie, he said urgently. My heart has been for you alone. Marrying Yurong was my mother's doing, the emperor's doing. I inherited the title, and the Marquiate needs a strong alliance through marriage. Your sister is the legitimate daughter, and your father is the minister of personnel. I had been in mourning for a year. My position at court had weakened. I needed this marriage to secure my standing. Qingning, do you understand? I had no choice. What if I no choice? I stood up and met his gaze. So, for the sake of your position, your power, you could betray me, lie to me, trample me into the mud, and expect me to be grateful to be your concubine. I am not trampling you. He seized my wrist, his grip strong. Qingning, believe me, even if Yurong is my wife, my heart belongs to you alone. I will put you in charge of the household. I can give you everything except the name, but the name is the one thing I want. I interrupted him, prying his fingers away one by one. Gu Yanchen, I want to be openly and properly married, to be carried in a grand sedan, to stand beside you in the light, not to hide in the shadows as a concubine no one can acknowledge. His face went from white to red and at last grew livid. Su Qingning, don't be so ungrateful. With your status, To be a noble concubine in a marquisate is already reaching high. If it weren't for our past feelings, do you think I would go to all this trouble? There, finally, the truth. I looked at him and suddenly realized that in 15 years, I had never truly known this person, the boy who had put a hairpin in my hair in the bamboo grove and said he would marry me, the boy who had sent 47 letters from the north saying he missed me, the boy who had said he would grow old with me. It had all been false. Or perhaps it had once been true, but in his heart, it had never been as important as power and status. Is that all, Lord Gu? I stepped back and knelt again on the cushion. Then please take your leave and do not delay my tonsure. Su Qingning, he cried out. If you dare to shave your head today, from this day on you will have no more ties to the Xinbei Marquisate or to the Chang family. Think carefully. I have thought very carefully. He shook with anger, his hand trembling as he pointed at me. Fine. Since you are so set on becoming a nun, I will not stop you. But remember, this is the path you chose. Do not regret it later. I will have no regrets. He turned and left in a fury. The sound of his footsteps faded, and the Buddha hall grew quiet once more. Huijue held the razor, her voice soft. Do you wish to continue? Continue. The razor fell, and my hair was cut away, inch by inch. I looked at myself in the bronze mirror. My 3,000 strands of worry had all fallen to the ground. The face in the mirror was pale, but the eyes were calm. From this day on, the passions and grudges of this mortal world would have nothing more to do with me. The tonsure was complete. Huijue draped a dark robe over my shoulders. From this day, your Dharma name is Liaochen, to have ended mortal entanglements, to turn your mind to the Buddha. Thank you, Reverend. That evening, as I sat in meditation in my chamber, a commotion rose from outside. A young nun rushed in, flustered. Elder Sister Liaochen, the Marquisate has sent people. They've brought many chests and are blocking the gate. They say they want to see you. I opened my eyes, was still for a moment, then rose and went outside. Before the gate stood a large crowd. Gu Yanchen was at the front, and behind him were dozens of red lacquered chests, their lids open, revealing gold and silver, jewels and silks glittering in the setting sun. He stared hard at me, at my shaven head, at my dark robe, his eyes so red they seemed to bleed. Su Qingning. His voice was hoarse, each word forced from between clenched teeth. These are your dowry, prepared by your father and mother. 128 chests, worth a fortune. He took a step forward, his breath heavy. I am returning them to you, all of them. Come back with me. I will send Cheng Yurong away immediately and marry you as my wife. I swear you will be the only one. The wind blew, stirring my wide robe. I looked at him, at the regret, anger, resentment, and a fear he himself might not have noticed swirling in his eyes. Lord Gu. I pressed my palms together and bowed slightly. I am now Liaochen, one who has ended mortal affairs. Please return to your home. Su Qingning. He was almost shouting. Don't push me. I took a letter from my sleeve and offered it to him. What is this? It is a letter breaking our engagement. I placed it in his hand. 3 days ago, I sent the betrothal tokens you gave me along with this letter to your household. From this day forward, our engagement is void. Each of us is free to marry as we choose. You dare. He snatched the letter and tore it open. Inside were only a few words. Su Qingning dissolves her engagement to Gu Yanchen of the Xinbei Marquisate. From this day, we are quits. We shall not meet again in this life. At the bottom were my name and a red thumbprint. His hand trembled, and the letter fell to the ground. Good. Shall not meet again. He laughed, but the laugh was harsh and bitter. Su Qingning, you are ruthless. Ruthless. I lowered my eyes and looked away. Take the chests back, all of them. He shouted to the servants behind him. He turned to leave, but then stopped. His back to me, his voice suddenly low, so low I almost could not hear it. Qingning, do you still have that bamboo hairpin? I was silent for a moment, then answered softly, I threw it away. His figure trembled, and at last he walked away without looking back. The setting sun lengthened his shadow. The chests were taken away. and the space before the nunnery gate was empty, only tracks left in the dust. Huijue came to stand beside me, murmuring a Buddhist chant. Liaochin, do you feel any regret? I watched the last glow of the sunset and shook my head slowly. I have entered the gate of emptiness. Mortal ties are severed. Then that is well. She turned back toward the nunnery. It is time for evening prayers. Yes. I followed her, stepping across the threshold, and on either side of it were now two different worlds. Behind me, the gate slowly closed, shutting out the clamor, the love, the hatred and resentment of this world. But what I did not know was that at the foot of the hill, Gu Yanchen had dismissed his attendants and stood alone by his carriage, the letter tightly clutched in his hand, his nails white from the pressure. He suddenly raised his hand and struck the carriage shaft with a heavy blow. Splinters pierced his hand and blood flowed freely, but he seemed not to notice. He only stared up at the nunnery on the hilltop, a storm of emotion in his eyes. Su Qingning. His voice was low and rough, each word forced out. You have cast me aside today like an old shoe. One day, I will make you come back to me on your knees. We have time. The days at the Shuyuan nunnery were so quiet I could hear the sound of leaves falling to the ground. I went by the name Liaochin. Every day, I rose at the hour of the tiger to do morning prayers, sweep the courtyards, chant sutras in the afternoon, and meditate in the evening. 3 days after my tonsure, the Chang family discovered what had happened. My mother, Lady Wang, came to the nunnery herself on a rainy autumn day. She stood beneath an oilpaper umbrella at the gate with 4 maids behind her. When she looked at me, her eyes were complex, with anger, resentment, and a hint of something I could not read. Qingning, must you be so heartless? She sent her attendants away and spoke with me alone in the meditation hall. I was already in my dark robe, my palms pressed together. Mother, I am now Liaochin. She murmured the name, then laughed, though the laughter did not reach her eyes. Liaochin, do you know that by becoming a nun, you have made the Chang family a laughingstock in the whole capital? Your father is mocked at court. They say the second daughter of the Chang family, for the sake of a man, threw away all shame and became a nun. Is that so? I lowered my eyes. Then, Mother, do you think the Chang family would have been any less of a laughingstock if I had actually entered the marquisate as a concubine? A concubine's daughter becoming a concubine is only natural. After a long moment, she added, but you had to make this scene, putting everyone in a difficult position. The Gu family sent people yesterday to return all the dowry chests. They brought a message with them. What message? Gu Yanchen said. She stared at me, her words slow and deliberate. From this day, the Chang and Gu families are as strangers. The silence in the room was broken only by the sound of rain on the window lattice. Then let it be so, I said. You, Lady Wang rose abruptly, pointing at me, her fingers trembling. Do you know what this means? Your father is in the Ministry of Personnel, and Gu Yanchen now holds the Ministry of War. This marriage would have been a mutual support. Now you have destroyed it all. Do you not care about your father's future? About the Chang family's future? Mother. I looked up at her. Since when has the Chang family's future depended on a concubine's daughter? She paled. All my life, I have been cautious, never daring to compete, never daring to fight for what is mine, because I know that as a concubine's daughter, I am not worthy. My voice was soft, but each word was clear. But Mother, I am also a person. I feel pain. You told me to wait 15 years, and I waited. You told me to be a concubine, and I accepted it, but you would not even leave me my last shred of dignity. Instead, you stabbed me in the heart, telling me I had no right even to ask why. Enough. Lady One cried, her voice sharp. For a long moment, she breathed heavily, then seemed to collapse back into her chair. She looked at me, at my dark robe, my shaven head, and in her eyes appeared a faint glimmer of tears. Qingning, do you know that you look very much like your mother? Your mother was just as stubborn when she first came into this house. She looked away, her voice lower. Although she was only a concubine, she always wanted fairness. But where is fairness in this world? Legitimate or concubine-born, man above woman, that has been the way for 1,000 years. No one can change it. And so my mother died. I said. She looked sharply at me. She died of illness. I met her gaze. But if she had not been a concubine, if she had had better doctors, better medicines, would she have died? Lady Wang's lips moved, but she could not speak. Mother, I do not blame you. Nor do I blame father. This is how the world is, and you have only followed its current. But I have a choice, to keep struggling in this mud, or to step out of it. Even if beyond is a sea of suffering, I will accept it. She took the cup, her hand trembling. Will you truly not care for the Chang family? The Chang family gave me life and raised me. For that, I am grateful. I knelt and kowtowed 3 times. But from this day on, Su Qingning is dead. Only Liaochen exists. The Chang family's honor or disgrace no longer concerns me. Lady Wan left. Her back stooped as if she had aged 10 years in a moment. Yunxiang stayed. Lady Wan had left her at the nunnery ostensibly to attend to me, but in truth to keep watch. But I could see that Yunxiang was genuinely sad for me. Miss, why are you doing this? She asked at night as she made my bed, wiping away tears. The madam has fallen ill since returning home, and the master flew into a rage. He said to act as if he had never had a daughter. Then all is well. I sat cross-legged on my cushion, closing my eyes to chant. But what will you do in the future? Will you really stay in this nunnery all your life? Why not? But you are still so young. Yunxiang. I opened my eyes. Do you think I am someone who accepts fate? She was taken aback. Becoming a nun is not accepting fate. I looked out at the dark night. It is choosing a different way to live. Yunxiang did not fully understand, but she asked no more. The days passed, and winter came. The incense offerings at the Shuyuan nunnery were sparse, and winter was even harder. Not enough charcoal, not enough food. Nun Huijua led us in daily work besides chanting. We went up the hill to chop wood and down the hill to beg for alms. My hands, once slender, grew rough, chapped with chilblains, but my heart grew calmer with each passing day. Nun Huijua was a remarkable person. She had been the daughter of an official, and in her youth had suffered a great reversal, losing her family, and had wandered to this nunnery where she had stayed for 30 years. She taught me to read not sutras, but history, military texts, miscellaneous writings. Liaochen, the dust in your heart cannot be forced away. It is better to see it clearly, she said. So I began to study history, from the records of the grand historian to the comprehensive mirror for aid in government, from the pre-Qin era to our own dynasty. In Huijue's meditation room, there was a whole wall of books, some even rare copies. She said she had brought them from her family home and now had no one to pass them on to but me. Why do you teach me these things? I once asked. Because there is discontent in your eyes, she said, sitting across from me, her gaze clear. Those who are discontent either destroy themselves or destroy the world. I teach you so that you may find a third path. What path? To fulfill yourself and to fulfill this world. I was not sure I understood. In the 12th month, trouble came from the hill below. A group of refugees flooded into the outskirts of the capital, fleeing snow and famine in the north, worsened by plague. The authorities closed the city gates and would not let them enter. So they camped outside, and their numbers grew. The Shuyuan nunnery, halfway up the hill, was also affected. One day, as I was splitting firewood in the backyard, I heard a commotion from the front yard, crying and shouting. I put down the axe and went to see. Before the nunnery gate were a dozen ragged refugees, men and women, old and young, gaunt and shivering in the cold wind. Huijua stood at the gate, her palms together. Good people, we have almost no grain left in the nunnery. We cannot help. Please have mercy. Give us something to eat. My child is starving. A woman with a baby fell to her knees, knocking her head on the ground. Huijua looked pained and turned to tell a young nun to bring the leftover porridge from yesterday. Reverend, I could not help but speak. Our stores will only last us half a month. If we give it to them, what will happen to us? Huijua looked at me, compassion in her eyes. Liaochen, the Buddha said, saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. But if we save them, we will starve. Then we will starve together. The refugees took the porridge and left, thanking us. Huijue watched them go down the hill and said softly, Liaochen, do you know why I stayed here for 30 years? Why? Because 30 years ago, I too was one of these refugees. She turned, her gaze distant. That year, war came to the north. My family was destroyed, and I fled here, starving, at death's door. It was the old abbess who gave me a bowl of porridge and saved my life. I was silent. So today, I must also save them. She looked at me. Do you understand? I don't, I said honestly. Reverend, a bowl of porridge cannot save everyone. If we give today, they will come again tomorrow, and even more will come the day after. When our grain is gone, they will still starve, and so will we. What meaning is there in this kind of compassion? Huijue looked at me for a long time, then suddenly smiled. Liaochen, you are more clear-sighted than I expected. She turned and walked toward her meditation room. Come with me. In the room, she took out a booklet and handed it to me. I opened it. It was filled with dense writing, recording years of disasters, numbers of refugees, government relief measures, even granary stocks in various prefectures. I have kept this for 30 years. Huijue said as she sat down. Do you think I am truly just a nun who eats and chants sutras? My heart began to beat faster. Liaochen, compassion must be in the heart, but there must also be the means of compassion. She pointed at the booklet. Look, in the 3rd year of Yongqing, there was a snow disaster in the north. 100,000 refugees. The court opened granaries. So why were there still so many dead? I flipped through quickly and answered, because the grain had to be transported from the capital to the north, losing 3/10 on the way. Officials at every level took their cuts, losing another 3/10, less than 4/10 actually reached the refugees. In the 7th year of Yongqing, there was plague in the south. The court allocated 500,000 taels of silver. Why did the plague still spread? Because the silver was misappropriated by local officials. Not enough medicine, not enough doctors, and the plague areas were not properly quarantined. So the disease spread. In the 11th year of Yongqing, last year, the Marquis of Xinbei died in battle, and the northern border was in turmoil. Why has the court not yet sent a senior general to take command? I turned to the last page, where there was only a small line. The Ministry of War, the Ministry of Revenue, and the Ministry of Personnel check each other, each with its own agenda. Gu Yanchen has newly inherited his title. He lacks a solid foundation and cannot command respect. The generals in the north act independently. I closed the booklet, my palms damp with sweat. Reverend, why are you showing me this? Because you want to know how to truly help others. Huijue said, her gaze intense. Liaochen, you have hatred, discontent, and anger in your heart. But if these feelings are only used to torment yourself, that is foolishness. If they can help you see the root of the world's problems and find a way to solve them, that is wisdom. What can I do? I asked, my voice dry. There is one thing you can try now. She pointed to the refugees outside the window. A bowl of porridge cannot save them, but if you can find a way for them to survive this winter, that would be your merit. How? There is a bamboo grove behind the nunnery. Do you know it? Yes. There are bamboo shoots underground. In winter, there are fewer, but if you search carefully, you will find them. Among the refugees, there is no lack of strong laborers. You can organize them to dig for bamboo shoots, using them to supplement their food to get through the winter. But why would they listen to me? Because you have grain. Huijue smiled. Our stores are not large, but if we eat sparingly and mix in wild vegetables and bamboo shoots, we may hold out until spring. You can tell them, those who come each day to help chop wood or repair the buildings will receive a bowl of porridge. Those with strength can form teams to dig for bamboo shoots. Half of what they find for the nunnery, half for themselves. This way, they have a means of living, and the nunnery has labor. Both benefit. My heart beat like a drum. The plan sounded simple, but to implement it required careful calculation of food consumption, labor distribution, bamboo shoot harvesting, and preventing cheating or fighting. Why don't you do this yourself, Reverend? I am old. She leaned back in her chair, closing her eyes. Liaochen, the future of this world belongs to you young people. If you wish, you can try. If you succeed, it is merit. If you fail, it is only a few more deaths, with no consequence to you or me. Her words were light, but I could feel their weight. That night, I did not sleep. By lamplight, I used the data in Huijua's booklet to calculate the nunnery's grain supply: 30 share of rice, 2 share of miscellaneous grains. The number of refugees, about 15 seen today, but according to reports from the foot of the hill, the total was likely 100 or more, and growing. Each person needed at least half a caddy of grain per day. If I gave porridge to everyone, the store would last at most 10 days. But if, as Huijua suggested, I gave work in exchange for grain, organizing the refugees to dig bamboo shoots, chop wood, and make repairs, then consumption could be reduced to 1/3 and supplemented with bamboo shoots and wild vegetables. It might last a month. After a month, the government's relief might arrive, or it might not. If not, what then? I wrote a few lines on paper. Count the refugees, separating the able-bodied from the old, weak, women, and children. Designate areas for digging bamboo shoots. Assign labor. Establish rewards and punishments. Distribute grain daily according to work done: more work, more reward. Find other sources of food. Are there wild fruits or mushrooms on the back hill? Fish or shrimp in the mountain stream? If after a month no government relief has come, what then? I stopped at the 5th line. Miss, aren't you sleeping yet? Yunxian woke up, rubbing her eyes, and came over to look. What is this? A plan to survive. I put down the brush and looked out at the brightening sky. Yunxiang, from today, I need you to help me with something. Tell me. You can read, and you are attentive. I need you to go down the hill, mix in with the refugees, and find out where they come from, how many there are, and what skills they have. Remember, do not reveal your identity. Say you are a refugee too, separated from your family. Yunxian's face went pale. Miss, that is too dangerous. Those refugees are starving. They might do anything. That is why you must be careful, I said, taking her hand. Yunxiang, I know this is hard. But if we do nothing, and the refugees grow desperate enough to come up the hill and take our food by force, we will all die. It is better to act first and find a way. Yunxiang looked at me for a long time, then nodded. I'll go. 3 days later, Yunxiang returned with news. The total number of refugees has grown to over 200, from 3 prefectures in the north. Most are farmers, but there are also a few craftsmen, an old doctor, and a former armed escort. An armed escort? His name is Han Tai. About 40, skilled in martial arts, and has some authority among the refugees. Yunxian lowered her voice. I've been watching them. What's keeping things calm now is the cold weather and Han Tai's influence. But food is running low. In 3 or 4 days, it could fall apart. Han Tai, I mused. What kind of person is he? He's loyal and responsible. Yunxiang hesitated. But it seems he has a past. I couldn't find out what exactly. Good. I stood up. Yunxiang, come with me to see Nun Huijue. Huijue listened to my plan and asked only one question. How confident are you? 50%. That is enough. She nodded. Go ahead. Everyone in the nunnery will follow your orders. That afternoon, I met Han Tai on the open ground at the foot of the hill where the refugees had gathered. He was a lean, middle-aged man with a scarred face, sharp eyes, and a watchful gaze. What can I do for you, little master? He clasped his hands in salute, his tone neither humble nor arrogant. Master Han. I returned the greeting. I am Liaochen of the Shu Yuan Nunnery. I have come today to discuss a matter of business with all of you. Business? Han Tai raised an eyebrow. Little master is joking. We who have fled here have nothing at all. Work in exchange for food. I got straight to the point. Our store is limited, but there is a bamboo grove behind the nunnery, and in winter, bamboo shoots can be found underground. The nunnery needs help with firewood, repairs, and also people to dig bamboo shoots, catch fish, and gather wild vegetables. Those who work will receive a bowl of thick porridge each day. Of the bamboo shoots and fish, The nunnery will keep half and you will keep half. That way, you have a means of living and the nunnery gains labor. Both benefit. The refugees stirred. Really? Could it be a trick? In times like these, who can you trust? Hantai raised a hand to quiet them, then looked at me. Little master, as a monk, why do you concern yourself with such matters? Because if I do nothing, when you are desperate enough to come up the hill and take our food by force, we will all die, I said frankly. So it is better to cooperate, each getting what we need. A hint of surprise flickered in his eyes, and he smiled. Little master is straightforward. But how can you guarantee that what you say will hold? The head of the nunnery, Huijue, has given me full authority. I took out a letter from Huijue and handed it to him. You may verify it yourself, Master Han. He examined it, then returned it. Even so, how can you guarantee there will be enough food to last until spring? I cannot guarantee, I said honestly. But this is the only way forward. The government's relief may come at any time, tomorrow, a month from now, or not at all. It is better to help ourselves. The refugees fell silent. Hantai looked around, then said slowly, Everyone, what the little master says makes sense. I, Hantai, am a rough man, but I know on principle, heaven helps those who help themselves. In our situation, is there any other choice? No one answered. Then I am willing to follow the little master's arrangements, Hantai said, clasping his hands. But one thing must be said first, if anyone cheats or tries to take more than their share, I will be the first to deal with them. Thank you, Master Han. I felt relieved. Then let us set some rules. I laid out the plan I had drawn up. Divide by labor. Able-bodied men will dig bamboo shoots and chop wood. Women, the elderly, and children will gather wild vegetables and do repairs. Work 4 hours a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Grain will be distributed daily according to work done. More work, more food. A patrol will be established, led by Hantai, to maintain order and prevent infighting. The nunnery will provide basic medical care for the sick and injured. The rules were clear with rewards and punishments. The refugees had no objections. That afternoon, Hantai took 30 strong men up the back hill. Huijue brought out all the tools the nunnery had, hoes, shovels, bamboo baskets, even a few old fishing nets. I led Yunxiang and a few young nuns to set up 3 large pots on the open ground to cook porridge, steam wild vegetables, and grill fish. By evening, Hantai and the others returned, each carrying a basket of bamboo shoots. Not many, but it was a start. According to our agreement, the nunnery kept half and they kept the rest. As the hot porridge and grilled fish were distributed, I saw tears in many eyes. Thank you, little master. An old woman knelt with her child, knocking her head on the ground. I helped her up, feeling not joy, but a heavy sense of responsibility. This was only the beginning. Over the next half-month, the back hill of Shuyuan Nunnery was busier than ever. Under Hantai's organization, the refugees worked in order, digging bamboo shoots, chopping wood, fishing, gathering wild vegetables, and even clearing a small patch of land on the hillside to plant quick-growing vegetables in the spring. I kept accounts with Yunxiang each day, calculating food use, adjusting work assignments, and handling problems as they arose, laziness, arguments, secret hoarding, all of which Hantai dealt with firmly. Gradually, the refugees' suspicion turned to trust. Hantai said to me in private, Master Liaochen, for a monk, you have quite the ability. I am impressed. It was forced upon me, I said, looking down at the spreading smoke of cooking fires. Master Han, you are a traveling escort and have seen much. Do you know why the government's relief has not arrived? Hantai's expression darkened. Master Liaochen, some things are better left unknown. But I want to know. I turned to him. Knowing the problem is the only way to deal with it. Hantai was silent for a moment, then lowered his voice. Before I left the north, I heard that the relief silver was embezzled at every level. Less than 30% reached the local authorities. With that little, they couldn't buy grain and just went through the motions. Worse, the garrison in the north mutinied and seized the official granaries. The north is in chaos. The court is busy putting down the rebellion. They don't have time for relief. I was startled. A mutiny among the northern garrison. Why have we heard nothing of it in the capital? The news was suppressed, Han Tai said. Here in the capital, all is celebration. Who cares about what is happening 1,000 miles away? Besides, he hesitated. I heard the mutiny is connected to the Jinbei Marquisate. My fingers twitched slightly. After the old marquis fell in battle, his former subordinates would not accept the new marquis. Gu Yanchen was seen as too young and inexperienced, and they would not hand over their military authority. He tried to assert his authority by sending troops south under the pretext of suppressing bandits, but fell into an ambush and lost 3,000 men. Resentment grew, and that is what caused the mutiny. Gu Yanchen. I had not heard that name in a long time. I thought I had forgotten it, but hearing it still caused a pain in my chest. Master Liaochen? Han Tai looked at me. It's nothing, I said, gathering myself. Master Han, in your view, when will this end? Hard to say. He shook his head. The situation in the north is complex, with various factions intertwined. If the court handles it poorly, it could lead to great disaster, not just refugees, but war spreading to the Central Plains. I felt a chill run down my spine. If that happened, the nunnery's meager stores would not last. Master Han, if it comes to that, what will you do? Han Tai smiled wryly. I was a traveling escort for a living. I crossed someone and lost everything, my family, my home, and ended up here. If I can survive, I will find a place to hide and live out my days. If not, he did not finish, but I saw a flash of resolve in his eyes. I understood. He was a desperate man, capable of anything if pushed too far. Master Han, I said, looking at him, if I offered you a way out, an honorable way, would you take it? What way? I want to form a guard force, I said, each word deliberate. Not just to protect the nunnery, but to protect these refugees. If bandits or mutinous soldiers come, we must be able to defend ourselves. Han Tai's eyes lit up, then dimmed. Master, training troops costs money and food. We have neither. I will find the money and food. I cut him off. Just tell me, if I give you 50 able-bodied men in a month, what can you train them to do? Han Tai thought for a moment, then said slowly, with 50 men in a month, I can teach them to form ranks, attack, defend, and coordinate. They will not be a match for a trained army, but they can handle ordinary bandits. Good. I nodded. You will choose the men. I will find the food. Master Liaochen. Han Tai looked at me deeply. Who are you? Someone who does not want to die, I said, pressing my palms together. Master Han, in this world, the weak can only wait for death. I do not want to die, and I do not want these people to die. So we must become stronger. Han Tai clasped his hands. I am ready to serve. That night, I again did not sleep. By lamplight, I calculated again, food, medicine, weapons, training. Every part needed money. The nunnery had nothing. Huijue's savings had already been used to help the refugees. I only had the 320 taels left from selling my jewelry. 320 taels to feed over 100 refugees was already barely enough, training as well. It seemed impossible. But if I did not train them, then when the soldiers or bandits came, it would be the end. What to do? I stared at the flickering lamp, my mind racing. Then I remembered something. In Huijue's booklet, there was a note. In the 9th year of Yongjing, 7 years ago, a wealthy merchant from the south named Shen had donated 100,000 taels of silver for disaster relief. But the silver was robbed during transport, and the case was never solved. The escort at the time had been the personal guard of the Jinbei Marquisate. The Shen family never recovered and moved away, and had not been heard from since. A thought struck me like lightning. What if the silver had not been stolen? What if someone had taken it for themselves? Who could have taken 100,000 taels of silver under the watch of the Jinbei Marquisate's own guard? The answer was clear. My palms began to sweat. If what I suspected was true, the silver might still be out there. If I could find it. But it was too risky. I was just a nun, a concubine's daughter abandoned by her family. A spurned bride. What right did I have to reopen a 7-year-old case? To challenge those who held power? But if I did nothing, would I just wait to die? Miss. Yunxiang woke and put a cloak around my shoulders. You haven't slept again. Yunxiang. I took her hand, my voice trembling. If there was something you could do that might lead to death, but if you did nothing, you would certainly die, what would you do? Yunxiang was taken aback, then said softly, Miss, I don't understand great principles. But I know this, following you, even to death, would be worth it. I looked into her clear eyes and smiled. Yes, I had already died once. Su Qingning was dead. In this world, there was only Liao Chen to end earthly ties. But if the world would not leave me alone, then I would overturn it. Yunxiang. I released her hand, my eyes growing firm. Help me with something. Tell me. Tomorrow, go down the hill to the largest tea house in the capital and ask about someone. Who? The Shen family, Shen Jingshan. Shen Jingshan, the head of the Shen family who had donated 100,000 taels 7 years ago and later lost everything. You know of him? I asked, surprised. I heard the old maids mention him, Yunxiang said. They said the Shen family was once very wealthy, but then they met with misfortune and fell overnight. The master, they say he is still alive, living in the south of the city. But he is mad, talking nonsense all day, and no one pays him any attention. Mad. My heart sank. Go to the south of the city tomorrow and find him. See if he is truly mad. I lowered my voice. If he is in his right mind, tell him Liao Chen of the Shu Yuan nunnery wishes to meet him to discuss a matter. What matter? To clear the Shen family's name. Yunxiang gasped. Miss, that would be a huge gamble. I looked out at the brightening sky and said softly, if we win, we all live. If we lose, we die a little sooner. The morning bell rang, a new day began. And what I did not know was that at the foot of the hill, a party of black-robed riders was galloping toward the nunnery. At their head, dressed in black, sharp-featured, was Gu Yanchen. He pulled up his horse, looking up at the nunnery on the hill, his eyes a storm of emotions. 3 months had passed since that day. After her refusal, he had fallen gravely ill, and when he recovered, he was a changed man. He had divorced Chang Yurong, ignoring his family's objections and the criticism at court. He had repudiated his wife of 3 months. The Chang family was outraged, the emperor angry. Officials condemned him, but he paid no attention. All he knew was regret that he had not taken her back by force, regret that he had taken her for granted, regret that he had abandoned her for power. But when he had finally resolved everything and wanted to bring her back, he heard that she had been busy at the nunnery, not only sheltering refugees, but also organizing work and even training troops. Gu Yanchen gripped the reins until his knuckles were white. Su Qingning, what are you trying to do? Sir, his attendant asked quietly. Shall we go up? Yes, he said through gritted teeth. I want to see what waves she can make in this nunnery. Horses. Hooves scattered the fallen leaves on the mountain path as they galloped up the hill. At that moment, I was sitting in the meditation room with Nun Huijue. You want to investigate the Shin case? Huijue put down her teacup, her eyes sharp. Yes. Why? We need money, I said plainly. To feed the refugees and train a guard, it all costs money. If the silver was indeed stolen, we might retrieve it and relieve the immediate need. Huijue was silent for a while, then said slowly, Liao Chen, do you know who that silver implicates? The Xinbei Marquisate? More than that. She shook her head. The escort was the Marquisite's personal guard, but behind it all was the Minister of War, Gao Song. My heart jumped, the Minister of War. Gu Yanchen's superior. And the uncle of Chang Yurong. So that was it. That was why Gu Yanchen had married Chang Yurong, not just for the Chang family's connections, but for Gao Song. Gao Song is greedy, power-hungry, and ruthless, Huijue said. It's almost certain that the money ended up in his pocket. If you investigate, you'll be provoking a tiger. Then what do you think I should do? You have 2 paths. She raised 2 fingers. First, stop here. Be a nun, and I'll keep you safe to the end. Second, continue, but be prepared to be ground to dust. I looked at her and smiled. I choose a 3rd path. Oh, to investigate and to come out safely, I said, word by word. And not just safely, to recover every single tale of that 100,000. Huijua looked at me for a long time, then laughed aloud. Her laughter echoed in the meditation room, startling crows from the window. Liaochen, Liaochen. She laughed until tears came. I was right about you. The fire in your heart has never gone out. I'm sorry to make you laugh. No, I am glad. She sobered. The world needs people like you. But Liaochen, remember this, once you set foot on this path, there is no turning back. You will face not just Gao Song, not just Gu Yanchen, you may face the whole court. I know. Then go ahead. She waved. I will have people keep an eye on Shin Jingshan, but whether you can persuade him will depend on you. Thank you, Reverend. I rose and bowed deeply. As I turned to push open the door of the meditation room, the morning light was just right. The sound of hooves came from the path, drawing closer. I looked up, the black-clad riders were near, and the one in front, in black on a white horse, was Gu Yanchen, whom I had not seen in 3 months. He reined in before me, looking down from his horse, his eyes moving over my dark robe and shaven head. Su Qingning, what exactly are you up to? I raised my head to meet his gaze, pressed my palms together, and bowed slightly. Lord Gu, I am Liaochen of this humble nunnery, here to save all beings. What brings you to this place? The mountain wind was fierce, swirling dead leaves. Gu Yanchen sat tall on his horse, his dark cloak snapping in the wind. He stared at me, eyes sharp as blades, as if trying to pierce my robe and see if I was still the same Su Qingning. Save all beings? He repeated slowly, a smile of mockery at the corner of his mouth. You have a high ambition, Master Liaochen. I wonder how this small nunnery will save the 100 or so refugees below, and how will you deal with the many more to come? I felt a chill. He knew. He knew about the refugees. Knew I was organizing them. Even knew their numbers. It seemed I had not been free from his attention these 3 months. Lord Gu is well informed, I said, lowering my eyes. But all I am doing is trying to survive. I hardly call it saving all beings. Your lordship, is this the place for a discussion of military matters? Su Qingning. He dismounted and stepped close until he was only 3 paces away. Must we always speak like this? I stepped back to keep my distance. Lord Gu, I am Liaochen. 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 He repeated the name, his eyes a mixture of pain and anger. Do you think that by shaving your head and changing your clothes you can escape this world? Su Qingning, your blood runs hot. And the hatred in your heart, can you truly let it go? Whether I can or cannot is none of your concern. I turned to leave. Stop. He reached for my wrist, but I sidestepped fast. 3 months of chopping wood and hauling water had made me more agile than I had ever been in the Chang household. His hand grasped only air, and a flicker of surprise crossed his face. Lord Gu, please keep your distance, I said, my voice calm. This is a holy place. Do not make a scene. He looked at me, at my bare head, at my calm eyes, and suddenly laughed, a laugh full of desolation. A holy place. A fine holy place indeed. He stepped back and looked around the simple nunnery. Su Qingning, are you satisfied to spend the rest of your life in a place like this? Where should I be, my lord? I asked. In your household? Kneeling before Chang Yurong? Watching you both grow old together? Waiting for the occasional favor you might throw my way? His face went pale. I divorced her. I was ill afterward, and as soon as I recovered, I wrote the divorce papers. The whole capital calls me unfaithful and heartless. I don't care. I only want you to come back with me. I will marry you with full honors, the red canopy, the phoenix crown. Just say you will. Gu Yanchen. I interrupted him, using his name for the first time. Do you think I care about the title? He was speechless. What I care about is that you lied to me, I said, each word deliberate. You promised me a lifetime of love, but then sought another. You said I was the only one in your heart, yet you married my sister for power. You trampled my sincere feelings for 15 years and expected me to be grateful. I had no choice, he said urgently. I had just inherited the title, and the court was watching me. Minister Gao Song was my superior, and he hinted that if I married his niece, he would support me. I had to. So you sold our betrothal, sold 15 years of love. I laughed, my eyes stinging. Gu Yanchen, do you know what I was thinking on the day you married Chang Yurong? His lips moved, but no words came. I was thinking, if you had told me honestly that you were forced, that you needed this marriage to secure your position, I would have been hurt. I would have been angry, but I would not have despised you as I do now. I looked at him, the boy I had once loved, and saw only sorrow. But you didn't. You wrote me love letters while preparing to marry my sister. What was I to you? A plaything you could pick up or discard at will? A fool you could manipulate? I never, he said, his eyes reddening. I never thought of you as a plaything. I thought you would understand. Understand that you traded me for power? Understand that you wanted me as a concubine? I shook my head. Gu Yanchen, you think too highly of yourself. He stood frozen as if struck by lightning. Go back now, Lord Gu, I said, turning away. Since the day you chose Chang Yurong, our bond has been broken. Whether you divorce her or not has nothing to do with me. Whether you marry me or not, I do not care. This small nunnery is my sanctuary. If you have any feeling left for me, do not come here again. I walked toward the gate. Su Qingning, he shouted behind me. If you step through that door today, from now on we are enemies. I did not stop. Do you think you can be a nun in peace here? Do you think Gao Song will let you go? Do you think the Chang family will forgive you? His voice rose. I tell you, after I divorced Chang Yurong, Gao Song was furious, and the Chang family was disgraced. They cannot touch me, but they will not let you off. You think you are safe here? You're dreaming. I paused at the threshold. And those refugees? He sneered. You think you are doing good? Let me tell you, the north is in chaos. More refugees are coming. The court cannot help them. In the end, they will starve or turn to banditry. You are keeping wolves in your midst. When they are desperate enough, they will tear you apart. The wind howled, swirling up dust. I turned and looked at him. Are you finished? He was breathing hard, staring at me. Then go, I said calmly. My life or death is none of your concern. He reached into his robe and threw something on the ground, the white jade hairpin, the one I had returned to him, broken in two on the stone. Su Qingning, this was our engagement token. His voice was hoarse, his eyes bloodshot. Today I destroy it before your eyes. From now on, we are done. I looked at the broken hairpin, and my heart was still. You should have done this long ago. Now, go. I stepped over the threshold and closed the gate behind me. As the door shut, I heard him let out a low cry, like a wounded beast, but I did not stop. I walked back to my meditation room. In the room, Nun Huijue was making tea. Through the rising steam, she looked at me. Back? I sat down opposite her and took the cup she offered. The tea was bitter, sharp at first, but left a sweet aftertaste. He was not entirely wrong, she said slowly. Gao Song is a vengeful man. The divorce will make him an enemy. And the Chang family, your father values reputation above all. Your becoming a nun has made them a laughingstock. He will not forgive you. I know, I said, sipping the tea. That is why I must move faster, before they act. I need to find the silver and form a guard. I put down the cup and looked at her. Has Yunxian returned? Not yet. When she does, bring her to see me immediately, no matter how late. Understood. That evening, Yunxian returned, her face pale. Miss, I found him. Xinjingshan is in the south of the city, but his situation is not good. How so? I dressed as a beggar and went to his house, a run-down little courtyard. There were at least 3 watchers around, a street vendor watching the gate, 2 men in a tea house, and a peddler who walked past several times without calling out anything. I felt a chill. Gao Song was keeping watch on Xinjingshan. And Xinjingshan himself? Did you see him? Yes. She lowered her voice. I slipped in through the back wall. He is indeed mad, but perhaps not completely. Explain. He sat in the courtyard talking to the air, crying and laughing. But as I was leaving, He looked at me, his eyes were clear. Sane. Did he recognize you? I think not. I was in disguise. She hesitated. But I think he is faking it. Faking it. I closed my eyes, mind racing. Shin Jingshan had been faking madness for 7 years. Why? To survive. Gao Song must have wanted him dead. By pretending to be mad, he had become harmless enough to be left alone. But why didn't he flee? Unless he had something Gao Song wanted, something he could not take with him. So he stayed, guarding it. Yunxiang, I said, go back. Tell him this Liaochen of the Shuyuan nunnery offers 100,000 taels for the Shin family's justice. She gasped. Miss, that's too risky. If he doesn't trust you, or if he's truly mad, or if he tells Gao Song, he won't, I said firmly. A man who fakes madness for 7 years will not trust easily, but he will not betray easily either. He is waiting for an opportunity, a chance to bring down Gao Song without destroying himself. But how can we bring down Gao Song? Yunxiang was anxious. He's the Minister of War, a high official. We have no power, no influence. We have the refugees, I said, looking out at the darkening sky. We have Han Tai and Shin Jingshan, and we have Gao Song's own crimes. Miss, she took my hands. They were cold. I know it's dangerous, I said, but we have no way back. What Gu Yanchen said today was a threat and a warning. Gao Song and the Chan family won't let me go. Better to act first than to wait. She looked at me for a long time, then nodded. I'll go. Remember, if it's dangerous, come back. Your life comes first. I understand. Yunxian left again that night. I sat in the meditation room. But my heart was restless. Shin Jingshan, Gao Song, Gu Yanchen, the Chang family, they were a net tightening around me. All I had was Han Tai and 100 refugees. But that was not enough. I needed more. Liaochen. Hu Eijue came in, holding a booklet. Look at this. I opened it. It was a ledger of the nunnery's income over the years from incense offerings and land rents and a few other sources. I've saved this over the years, she said. Not much, about 1,200 taels. Take it. Use it as you need. Reverend. I can't, when I was young. I was just like you, restless, unwilling to accept the world as it was. I tried to fight it, and I failed. I lost my family, my home, and ended up here. In 30 years, I have chanted sutras day and night, but I have never truly let go. Seeing you now is like seeing myself. This money is my last attachment. I give it to you to complete what I could not. She looked at me with gentle, firm eyes. Do what you must. Even if you fail, we will meet on the other side. My eyes burned. I knelt and kowtowed. Thank you, Reverend. She helped me up. Remember, man proposes, heaven disposes. But do good without worrying about the future. That night, Yunxian did not return. I waited until late, then went to find Han Tai, but then a young nun came running. Master Liaochen, Yunxiang, she's been hurt. I ran to the side room. Yunxiang lay on the bed, pale, blood soaking her left shoulder. Yunxiang. I rushed to her side. Miss, she opened her eyes weakly. I made it back. Don't speak. I turned to get Han Tai and the old doctor. He examined the wound. It's a knife cut, not fatal, but she's lost a lot of blood. Who did this? I asked, my voice cold. Gao Song's men, Yunxiang said. They were watching. I ran, but they caught me. And Shin Jingshan, what did he say? He gave me this. She handed me a blood-stained jade pendant. He said, if you have the courage, I will risk everything on your side. 3 days from now, at midnight, at the city's south temple. She fell unconscious again. She needs rest, the doctor said. I thanked him and turned to Han Tai. How many of our men are ready? 30, he said. Good. I need you and 10 of them to come with me in 3 days. Where? To the South Temple. 3 nights later, we set out. The temple was abandoned, overgrown with weeds, the wind moaning through the ruins. We waited in hiding. At midnight, a bent figure came. It was Shin Jingshan. Before I could approach, torches flared around him. A dozen men in black surrounded him. "Old Shin, out for a walk?" Their leader sneered. "You've been faking madness for 7 years. Did you think we would not find out? Tell us who sent that girl." "I don't know what you mean." "Then you won't mind coming with us to see the minister." They grabbed him. I nodded to Han Tai. He and his men closed in. The fight was quick and brutal. In minutes, the attackers were down. Han Tai helped Shin Jingshan up. "You're the one she spoke of," he said. I stepped forward. "I am Liao Chen. We have little time. If you trust me, tell me what you know, and I will clear your name." He looked at me and began to weep. 7 years. Finally, someone comes. "Where is the 100,000 taels?" "In the Yongfeng Exchange, in the west of the city," he said. The silver was never sent north. It was hidden in a basement. Gao Song took it. "Most of it is gone, but about 32,000 taels remain. Do you have proof?" "Yes." He handed me a ledger. "This is the record kept by the guard who was in charge. It shows how Gao Song arranged the theft and then killed the witnesses. I have kept it all this time." I took the ledger. "Will you let me have this?" He laughed bitterly. "I have nothing left but this. I have waited for someone who would dare to use it. Take it, succeed or fail. It is in heaven's hands." I hid the ledger. "Han Tai, take him to safety." We parted ways. On the way back, I felt the weight of the ledger. With it, I had a weapon. But I had also stepped onto a path with no way back. "What now?" Han Tai asked. "We cannot accuse him directly. He will deny it," I said. "We need a perfect chance." "When?" I did not answer, but I knew that opportunity would come. Back at the nunnery, I hid the ledger. Dawn was breaking when a cry came from outside. Soldiers had surrounded the nunnery. At their head was Gao Song. Beside him stood Gu Yanchen. Gao Song's smile was cold. "I hear the nunnery is sheltering bandits and training troops." "We are sheltering refugees, not bandits," I said calmly. "You have no proof." "No proof?" His voice dropped. "Last night, at the South Temple, you killed my men." "I was in the nunnery all night," I said. "You have no evidence." He glared at me. Gu Yanchen stepped forward. "Without evidence, you have no right to search a holy place." "Fine," Gao Song said. "But from now on, my soldiers will stay here." They set up camp around the nunnery. Gu Yanchen lingered. "You are playing with fire," he said. "Gao Song is powerful. Stop this. Come back with me. I will keep you safe. As a captive or as a chess piece." He flinched. "I know why you are here. Since divorcing Chang Yirong, you have made enemies. You need me against Gao Song, isn't that it?" He had no reply. "Go, Lord Gu. Our paths have parted." I turned and walked back through the gate, closing it behind me. The game was only beginning. In the meditation room, Nan Huijue waited. "You have no way back," she said. "I know," I said, kneeling. "But I have no other way." She looked at me for a long time, then smiled. She took out a letter. "This came for you 3 days ago." I opened it. It was from the 7th Prince, Xiaoyu. He wanted to meet me at the Yongfeng Exchange at noon in 3 days. I had met him once. 3 years ago, a sharp young man with a keen interest in me. He was dangerous, but he might be the ally I needed. The next 3 days were tense. Gao Song's men searched the nunnery, looking for the ledger. I had hidden it well. On the 3rd morning, he came himself. "Last chance," he said. "Tell me where Shin Jingshan is, and I'll let you live." "I don't know what you're talking about." He ordered the search. They found nothing. "That girl of yours, Yunxiang, we've taken her," he said. "We'll find out everything." A cry from outside, Yunxiang was being tortured. I moved to go, but he stopped me. "The ledger, will you give it now?" I met his eyes. "You think there is only one copy? If I do not return from here safely, another copy will reach the censorate and the throne." His face changed. "You dare threaten me? I am telling you a fact." He laughed bitterly. "You are more dangerous than I thought." He released Yunxiang and withdrew. I carried her back inside. That afternoon, I went to meet the prince. At the exchange, Xiao Yu waited. I'll help you bring down Gao Song and recover the silver, he said. In return, you will serve as the head of a new investigative bureau directly under me. You will be a minister, a woman, an ex-nun, but with my backing, no one will dare stop you. Why me? Because you have courage, you have a grudge, and you have nothing to lose. That makes you the perfect weapon. When I have settled my score, will I be free? When you are done, you may go. I will not hold you. Deal. 3 days later, at court, I presented the evidence. Gao Song was exposed, found guilty of embezzlement and murder. He was sentenced to execution. Gu Yanchen was also implicated, stripped of his title and banished. The Chang family was ruined, my father stripped of office, my sister forced to become a nun. As the sentences fell, I felt no joy, only a cold recognition of the power I had wielded. The emperor granted me the position of head of the Qingli Bureau, and I took up my new role. Later, I returned to the nunnery to have my head shaved again. I was still Liaochen, but now I was also a minister. I would serve the realm and keep my faith. On the day I left the nunnery, I saw Gu Yanchen for the last time, in chains, ready for exile. Do you regret it? He asked. Regret meeting me, loving me, or becoming who you are now? I looked at him and shook my head. No, because those experiences, those pains, they have made me what I am. I no longer hate you, but I do not love you either. We are quits. Take care. I turned and walked away. I crossed the threshold of my new office, the Qingli Bureau. The road ahead was long, but I had no fear. I would go forward until the world was just, until women could stand in court, hold power, and shape their own fate, until the world was truly fair. After hearing this story, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share them in the comments. Looking forward to hearing your voice.